Hi everyone, JC from Kaoko here. Many of you may be wondering why a Kaoko Throttle Stabilizer would be useful and how it might improve your riding comfort, even if your motorcycle already has built-in cruise control. Let's start by explaining what a Kaoko Throttle Stabilizer is and how it works. So here I have one of our units that work with a wide variety of Kawasaki motorcycles, and as you can see, it's a fully mechanical device that simply just bolts onto the end of the handlebar. This right here is what we call the friction nut, and as it rotates it moves along the thread so that it can apply pressure onto this small ring, which is called the thrust washer. This thrust washer sits in between the friction nut and the plastic throttle sleeve that's located just underneath the grip. Its job is to make sure that there's always a reliable contact point between the friction nuts and the throttle sleeve, resulting in a smooth engagement and disengagement of the unit. These washers can vary depending on your kit, but the function is always the same. You'll also notice there's a small grub screw inside the friction nut, which just allows you to adjust the stiffness of the nut's rotation itself. And lastly, there's a rubber O-ring that's located next to the friction nut threads, as you can see here. This is just to make sure that the friction nut cannot lock against the Kaoko bar and weight. So how does all of this work together? Let me demonstrate on one of our displays. As you can see, it already has a unit installed, so in order to engage the unit, we can start rotating the friction nut in the same direction as you would be operating the throttle. You'll eventually start to feel the friction nut stiffening up, which means this is starting to apply pressure to the thrust washer over here, as well as the plastic throttle sleeve under here. Now, when the unit is fully engaged, like so, we're free to set our throttle to any position that we want. And to disengage, we simply rotate the friction nut in the same direction as closing the throttle, like so. It's worth noting that the Kaoko unit will never lock up your throttle completely, and the friction can be overridden instantly at any time without needing to disengage the unit first. Now, what if you already have electronic cruise control fitted to your motorcycle? Since the Kaoko is a fully mechanical device that uses friction to operate, it can easily be engaged at any speed, whereas electronic cruise control requires a minimum speed before it can be engaged. And for those who simply don't have cruise control, the Kaoko can provide an easy solution. And what about off-road adventure riding? As mentioned before, the Kaoko doesn't have an on or off switch, so it can also be kept partially engaged, which allows adventure riders to stiffen up their throttle just enough to reduce any unwanted throttle input from the rough and bumpy terrain. It's worth noting that some adventure bikes also have an enduro mode for off-roading, like the R1300 GS and the 1250 GS. While riding in this mode, cruise control functionality is completely disabled, whereas the Kaoko can be used at any time and in any riding mode. Ultimately, the Kaoko can provide a benefit for everyone, no matter what motorcycle you choose to ride. So if you would like to get one for your motorcycle, check out our website, or if you're not sure what unit you need, drop us an email and we'll make sure to get the right one for your setup. Until next time.